The champagne was still on my tongue when I saw him do it. My father, smiling, smug, handing over my life's work to her. My dropout stepsister, who couldn't code a line to save her life. He raised his glass and announced to the guests, "The future of this family empire rests in her hands." Applause, cheers, laughter. I stood there in my wedding suit, the ring barely on my finger, and watched as years of sacrifice were stripped from me like it meant nothing. When I pulled him aside, he didn't bother lowering his voice. He shoved a $20 bill into my palm and said, "This is your worth. Take it and be grateful." That was the moment. The betrayal burned hotter than any flame I'd ever known. But my face didn't twitch. I smiled, tucked the bill into my pocket, and said, "Then you'll love what's coming." Backstory. It wasn't always this way. When my mother died, I was 12. My father remarried within a year. He said he needed stability. What he meant was he needed someone else to raise me while he drowned in deals. His new wife brought her daughter, Amber. She was loud, spoiled, reckless. Teachers called her a free spirit. I called her a storm. Meanwhile, I was the quiet one, the kid who stayed up late teaching himself Python instead of sneaking out to parties. My father barely noticed. But the firm, his firm, was dying. He'd run it into the ground, and when the market shifted, bankruptcy loomed. That's when I built it, the tool. An AI system that optimized client portfolios in real time, cutting losses and predicting gains. What started as my thesis became the engine that resurrected the company. Within 3 years, the firm wasn't just stable, it was a $200 million machine. And my father wore the crown like he'd built it himself. I didn't care. Not then. I thought, maybe this was the first time he'd see me. Discovery of betrayal. I should have known. Little things piled up. Amber's name started appearing in meetings she never attended. Clients referred to her as the prodigy. And my father, every time he looked at me, his eyes carried that flicker of contempt, the one that said, "You owe me." But I kept working, because I thought loyalty meant something, until my wedding night. That's when the lie collapsed, and the knife finally came down. Shift in mindset. I didn't shout, didn't curse, didn't even flinch. I walked away from the ballroom and let the music swallow his laughter. In the silence of the hotel hallway, I made a vow, not to destroy them with rage. No, rage is messy, loud, forgettable. I would bury them in silence. I would make the ground beneath their feet tremble. And I would do it with the very thing they thought they owned. Execution of the plan. My AI was never just one system. That's what they never knew. The public tool was powerful, yes, but it was only the mask. Behind it, hidden deep in the code, were subroutines only I could activate. Failsafes, locks, keys. I'd built them in not out of malice, but survival. You don't hand your entire life's work to people who see you as disposable without an escape route. That night, while Amber was busy posting champagne selfies and my father was drunk on his own arrogance, I went home, powered up my server, and flipped the first switch. Within minutes, the AI forked itself, creating a private branch only I controlled. All client data, all predictive models, all proprietary algorithms, they moved silently into my possession. The public version? It stayed live, looked normal, but under the surface, it began bleeding. Predictions skewed, timelines lagged, margins thinned. Not enough to spark immediate panic, just enough to corrode, to rot from within. Meanwhile, I filed patents, quietly, carefully, naming myself as the sole inventor, with timestamps and legal protections they couldn't erase. I built a new company, offshore, cloaked under holding names. I signed my first clients within weeks, all while Amber strutted around the office pretending she understood the code. Climax and confrontation. The morning after the wedding, they arrived at the office. I was already there, waiting. Amber walked in first, heels clicking like gunshots. My father followed, his tie crooked, his face flushed with the arrogance of a man who believed he had won. But then the floorboards started shaking. Not from an earthquake, no. From the servers beneath, overheating, straining, as the AI buckled under its own corruption. Screens flickered, graphs spiked red, phones rang off the hook. Clients panicked. Amber's smile faltered. My father barked orders no one could follow. I sat in the glass conference room, watching, silent, calm, until his eyes found mine. He stormed in, slammed his hand on the table. "What